just very quickly, how do you justify this impeachment inquiry without holding a full House vote?
Oh, easily, because Nancy Pelosi changed the rules in the president, but let's walk through why.
Ain't nothing changed, nothing new here to see. This ain't nothing but some political maneuvering.
America!
Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to This Week in DUMBmocracy, where we showcase some of the dumbest newsmakers of the week. So we're still in the afterglow of Speaker Kevin McCarthy's official announcement of an impeachment inquiry into Biden Inc., Ukraine, Burisma, Hunter Biden, all that stuff. And one of the attack lines that we've seen in the media today, after the announcement has been made, is questioning Kevin McCarthy about a supposed flip-flop in his position concerning impeachment inquiries. But before we get into all that, be sure to like, comment, share the show with your friends, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. This is going to be an interesting discussion, and I want to keep this in mind, is whether or not Kevin McCarthy is flip-flopping, or if this is just a case of political comeuppance and the shoe being on the other foot. So the idea of flip-flopping is part of agenda gymnastics that I talk about in my book, Schnooks, Crooks, Liars, and Scoundrels, a field guide to identifying political buffoons, available right now on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble, and other online bookstores. What I'm talking about is the idea that you take one position when it's convenient to you now, and another one when the positions have turned, when the tables have turned somewhat. And certainly, an argument can be made that Kevin McCarthy is flip-flopping on the validity of impeachment inquiries and whether or not they should be voted on before officially announced. I'm arguing that this is not a flip-flop. It's political comeuppance. It's the shoe on the other foot. Let me give you a prime example of political comeuppance that happened recently. The year is 2013. Harry Reid is the majority leader in the Senate, and he is vexed by the filibuster of certain nominees in the Obama administration by the minority Republicans at the time. So what does he do? He unveils what history has come to call the nuclear option.
Congress should be passing legislation that strengthens our economy, protects American families. Instead, we're burning wasted hours and wasted days between filibusters. The change we propose today would ensure executive and judicial nominations, an up or down vote on confirmation. Yes, no. The rule change will make cloture for all nominations other than the Supreme Court, a majority threshold vote. Yes or no. The Senate is a living thing, and to survive it must change, as it has over the history of this great country. To the average American, adapting the rules to make the Senate work again is just common sense. This is not about Democrats versus Republicans. This is about making Washington work regardless of who's in the White House or who controls the Senate. To remain relevant and effective as an institution, the Senate must evolve to meet the challenges of this modern era.
So that was all well and good in 2013, and of course, Ms. McConnell, who was the minority leader then, was against the change. But now fast forward to 2017. The shoe is on the other foot, and McConnell is now the majority leader in a Trump administration. So he leans into the precedent set by Harry Reid.
Our Democratic colleagues have done something today that is unprecedented in the history of the Senate. Unfortunately, it has brought us to this point. We need to restore the norms and traditions of the Senate and get past this unprecedented partisan filibuster. Therefore, I raise a point of order that the vote on cloture under the precedent set on November 21st, 2013 is a majority vote on all nominations.
And the rest is history. This enabled McConnell and the Trump administration to put through a plethora of judicial nominees that now sit on the bench today and develop precedent in favor of conservative positions. Which brings us now back to present day, with Kevin McCarthy invoking the Pelosi rule for starting official impeachment inquiries.
Just very quickly, how do you justify this impeachment inquiry without holding a full House vote?
Oh, easily, because Nancy Pelosi changed the rules in the president. But let's walk through why. And let's walk through what an impeachment inquiry is, okay? An impeachment inquiry is simply empowering the House to a greater level to get the documents they need to answer a question. So what it is how do you answer a question?
Now, what is the Pelosi precedent? Let's take a look. Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show. So we now, once again, time jump back to the Trump administration and Nancy Pelosi's justification for just announcing an impeachment inquiry.
The White House says it's not cooperating in part because there hasn't been a vote to formalize this impeachment inquiry. Why not hold the vote and call the White House bluff?
Well, I'll let the Speaker respond to that, but, I think the Constitution is very clear. The House will have the sole power of impeachment, and there is no court that's going to find otherwise, and I think the Republicans know it, but they don't want to discuss the president's conduct. They would much rather discuss process, because they can't defend the president's conduct, and every time they're asked, you see just how difficult, how indeed impossible it is to justify the unjustifiable.
As the distinguished chairman said, there's no requirement that we have a vote. And so at this time, we will not be having a vote. And I'm very pleased with the thoughtfulness of our caucus in terms of being supportive of the path that we are on in terms of fairness, in terms of seeking the truth, in terms of upholding the Constitution of the United States. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I can follow up on that point. That's a very key point, though. And as the chairman says, the Constitution, Article 1, Section 2 and 3 are clear about what bodies have power of impeachment here. But that said, when you hear from your caucus, we're not ready to have a vote yet. Why not call the administration's bluff and say...
Why? Because we're not here to call bluffs. We're here to find the truth, to uphold the Constitution of the United States. This is not a game for us. This is deadly serious. And we're on a path that is taking us to a path to truth and a timetable that respects our Constitution.
And there you have it. The precedent is set by Nancy Pelosi, and now Kevin McCarthy is walking down the same path that she trailblazed. Shouldn't Democrats be proud that Republicans are following in their footsteps once again? Now, we have the Pelosi precedent, right? But Kevin McCarthy, like Mitch McConnell, argued against that precedent back in 2020. So how does that jibe now that he is in power as the Speaker, following the path that Nancy Pelosi has trailblazed for him? The answer is actually a lot easier than you think, and it'll show it's not a flip-flop.
Want an opinion in 2020 that basically said an inquiry is invalid unless you have the House authorized.
You also have a court case that going forward with Nadler, when he went forward when they did not have a vote, when they wanted documents, and the judge said, why do you need these documents? He said, we've got an impeachment inquiry. He said, okay, you could have it. So you've got a court case there. Look.
But you told Breitbart.
And there you have it. Judicial precedent that was created by Nancy Pelosi. It's all legit to me, folks. This is how the game is played. This is political comeuppance. Nancy Pelosi wanted to change the rules, much like Harry Reid did. And now Democrats in a following term with the Republicans in power are feeling the sting of their own words. They are tasting their own medicine and, ooh, it's real bitter. But the reporters are going to keep pressing on Kevin McCarthy here. And it goes along with that whole agenda that we talked about in yesterday's video of the White House sending out the bat signal, telling reporters to question the motives of Republicans with this impeachment inquiry.
And the purpose of what they're doing is a politically motivated, far-right, extreme series of attacks on the president and his family that are not rooted in the truth. And I think that what we can do and what the independent press can do is to hold them accountable for those lies over and over again.
So right on cue, here comes a CNN reporter.
12 days ago that you have a vote, so what changed?
You know what's interesting to me? You were a reporter for CNN, correct?
guess.
I just laid out to you a lot of allegations based upon the American public.
I'm just asking about your words. Why did you change your words?
Okay, well, let me answer your question, because I've answered it every single day, and you could answer me every single day. Nancy Pelosi changed the precedent of this House.
But that was
this doesn't preclude from a... Nancy Pelosi changed the precedent of this House on September 24th. It was withheld and good enough for every single Democrat here. It was good enough for the judge. Why would it have to be different today? What we've learned in the last couple weeks, wouldn't you want to know the answer to? Your whole job is reporting.
And that's a great comeback from Kevin McCarthy. So I now put it to you, my loyal viewers, and really, you guys have been so great in the comments and responding to things. It's been fun talking to you. Let's have another conversation. Is Kevin McCarthy a flip-flopper, or is he simply following precedent from the previous Congress and from the courts? You tell me what you think. To me, a flip-flopper is someone who burns personal credibility or professional credibility to snake their way and contort to a point that really is a stretch. I don't see Kevin McCarthy doing a lot of stretching here, especially when there's a court case that ruled against his previous argument when the shoe was on the other foot. He's leaning into the state of politics and the state of the law today and not holding on to a view from 3 years ago that ended up being defeated in court. There is no worming and contorting to get to this position. He gave his shot, he shot his shot, and he lost. So now that he's in power, he gets to lean into that loss. He gets to lean into Pelosi's victory over him. And to me, that is just sweet, sweet irony. It's not necessarily a flip-flop, in my opinion. But again, let me know what you think. And while you let me know what you think with the comments, please also like and share the video with your friends. Let's find out what they think too. And please, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Because for me, listen, these conversations are so much fun. I want to have them with everyone about all the shenanigans and buffoonery that happens every day this week in DUMBmocracy.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.